What movie do you never mind watching? Last Crusade. Watched it last night too. Love that crap. And I even like the color. No Ticket. Harrison Ford and Sean Connery's chemistry in that movie is otherworldly, and Connery has so many great lines. An immensely enjoyable, and rewatchable, film. I could quote every damn line, but this scene? This scene is the example of brilliance every filmmaker should adhere to. He's got a 2-day head start on you, which is more than he needs. Brody's got friends in every town and village from here to the Sudan. He speaks a dozen languages and knows every local custom. He'll blend in, disappear, and you'll never see him again. With any luck, he's got the Grail already. And if you picture it all in your head, you know I'm right. Absolutely wonderful. Brody, hello, does anyone here speak English? Sorry, son. They got us. Dad, 11 o'clock, what happens at 11 o'clock? I wrote them down in my diary, so I wouldn't have to remember. This is a castle, and we have many tapestries, and if you are a Scottish lord, then I am Mickey Mouse. I say this unironically, Kung Fu Panda. Tai Lung freaking rocks in that movie. All I ever did, I did to make you proud. Best line of the movie is about him. Master, I have bad news. There is no bad or good news. There is just news. Tai Lung has escaped from prison. That is bad news. Makes me lose it every single time, even though I know it's coming. He follows it up with an if though. That is bad news, if you do not believe the Dragon Warrior can stop Tai Lung. Something along those lines. But yeah, that line is hilarious after hearing him preach about no accidents and the whole wise sage stuff. Preach, brother. The secret is, there's no secret ingredient. This changed my life. I also say this without irony. The fight between Tai Lung and Shifu is such a great fight. I feel so bad for Tai Lung, whose entire life was spent training himself into a tool for Shifu's pride. His life could have been so different and better if Shifu hadn't told him what he was training him for. Same, even though it's what you would call a children's movie, it still has themes and relatability to all ages. Plus the movies are just really good. Emperor's New Groove, can't help it, I'm clearly a child and I laugh like an idiot every time. Yeah, I'm a llama again. Wait. I feel like this line sums up 2020 nicely. Squeak, squeak and squeakin'. What? A llama? He's supposed to be dead. My favorite part is, I've been turned into a cow. Can I go home? You're excused. Anyone else? No buttholes here, we're good. Oh, yeah, it's all coming together. Beware the groove. No. He has a point. Wrong lever. Why do we even have that lever? Later, okay, why does she even have that lever? This is without a doubt my favorite Disney movie and probably sneaks into my top 10 all time. I know. I'll turn him into a flea. A harmless little flea. Then I'll put the flea in a box. Then I'll put that box in another box. Then I'll put that box in a bigger box. Then I'll mail it to myself, and when it gets here, I'll smash it with a hammer. It's genius, I tell you. Brilliant, I say. Or, to save on postage, I'll just poison him with this. The Mummy. A 1999 masterpiece with Brendan Fraser. You came back from the desert with a new friend, didn't you, Benny? Jonathan, Imhotep. Imhotep. Hey O'Connell. Looks to me like we have all the horses. Hey Benive. Looks to me you're on the wrong ride of the river. It's cast so well. Every character is great, let alone the rest. Top 10 film for me, it's so enjoyable. Hey, O'Connell, looks like I've got all the horses. Looks to me you're on the wrong side of the river. Office Space. There are tons of movies that I love and rewatch quite a bit, Saving Private Ryan, Hot Fuzz, etc., but Office Space I will always sit down and enjoy if it's on. Accounts Payable Nina speaking. Just a moment. You're giving me such a bad case of the Mondays. Peter Gibbons, let me ask you something. When you come in on Monday, and you're not feeling real well, does anyone ever say to you, sounds like someone has a case of the Mondays? Lawrence, no. No, man. Crap, no, man. I believe you'd get your butt kicked saying something like that, man. My dad is a blue-collar worker. The first time we watched Office Space I had to pause the movie because Dad laughed so hard at Lawrence's line. I watched this a lot when it first came out. I just watched it again 20 years later and it really hit home for me in a way it hadn't before. Yeah, I'm just not going to go. It's because when we're younger we see it as a comedy, and after a couple of decades of slogging through the corporate world we watch it again and realize it's a horror movie. Original poster replies. Never heard of it, but I am excited. Now it is on my list. Oh my god. I'm so jealous you get to watch Office Space for your first time. I've seen it like 300 times easily laughing out loud. Mike Judge is amazing. Make sure you watch Idiocracy too. Office Space is just about perfect. And if you work in a cubicle, the jokes are going to hit you even harder. It's so effing good. When they're destroying the printer and the one guy was so passionate about it they had to hold him back and restrain him. Edit, I kid you not. I turned on the TV and this movie just started. Stars comedy. Oh god, you have Pulp Fiction and Office Space to watch? You lucky bastard. Original poster replies. Well, thanks for all the comments, now I have a great movie list. Jurassic Park. Spirited Away. If we're talking Studio Ghibli, I'm going with Princess Mononoke. Groundhog Day, ironically. Galaxy Quest. The best Star Trek movie made. Edit, who'da thunk my most commented comment would have been about a silly parody. Glad to see so many other warped humor folks appreciating a true classic. My husband asked, is that Hans Gruber as the Spock guy? Alan Rickman, great cast as a Shakespearean actor relegated to an alien headpiece. By Grabthar's Hammer, what a savings. I have never heard a line delivered with such a soul-crushed, dead-inside voice. Rickman was amazing. And the way he hesitated and the 1,000-yard stare. That one line is a masterpiece inside the masterpiece. Never give up. Never surrender. The Fifth Element. I don't know, it just never gets old for me. Multi-pass. Hot Fuzz. Edit, wow, gold, for the greater good, kind stranger. What's the matter, Danny? Never taken a shortcut before? Chunky Monkey. Eve Draper. 4. I thought this was a serious movie, so I made sure I was in the mood for intense action/drama before watching it, laughed so hard I cried and now it's one of my favorites. The amount of detail in this movie is amazing. I just watched it for the 6th or 7th time the other day, and I'm still picking up stuff I hadn't noticed before. 100%, agree. That goes for the whole of the Cornetto trilogy. Love all three, but I think Hot Fuzz is the clear MVP. Hot Fuzz Shaun of the Dead World's End, in my opinion. I like World's End, don't get me wrong, but it's not iconic like the other two. Well, let's be honest, World's End is also a much heavier themed film. Gary and his train wreck life, the process of getting older, and the inevitable change in life from youth to full adulthood. Laughing out loud, I watched World's End with a girl I was dating at the time who was way too into rom-coms and heartfelt films about finding yourself. I told her it was about 5 or 6 friends having one last pub crawl before they hit middle age, and they all have a real feel-good time. Boy was she disappointed when the backcrap stuff started happening, laughing out loud. Crusty Jugglers. A great big bushy beard. The greater good. Yarp. Narp? Labyrinth, heart. You remind me of the babe. What babe? How to Train Your Dragon. The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. It's so quotable, funny and exciting. Ditto. It infuriates me when I'm looking at my guide and I see The Mummy, only to realize it's the one with Tom Cruise. I literally cuss at my TV. Hey O'Connell. Looks to me like I've got all the horses. Hey Benny. Looks to me like you're on the wrong side of the riviere. The Princess Bride. It's just a fun movie that anyone can watch. Legit never seen it. Never seen it come up on TV. Never seen it for sale anywhere. It's just forever been one of those ones on the list. Inconceivable. You've committed one of the classic blunders, failing to watch Princess Bride. My name is Inigo Montoya, you killed my father. Prepare to die. Stop saying that. You've committed one of the classic blunders. The most famous is to never get into a land war in Asia, but only slightly less well known is this: never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line. Ha ha. Galaxy Quest. Could not have been cast better. By Grabthar's Hammer, what a savings. I'll always watch School of Rock. Such a happy film. Blazing Saddles. I can't believe this wasn't posted already. I know this movie is older than most of you whippersnappers, but still. I know there's enough of us old farts on Reddit. Edit, my first award. Thank you, kind stranger. I live in remote northern Canada amongst the religious farmers. I have no idea how many times this quote rolls through my mind. You've got to remember that these are just simple farmers. These are people of the land. The common clay of the New West. You know. Morons. Blues Brothers. One of the greatest unofficial musicals ever made. It is the absolute perfect movie, in my honest opinion. It's 106 miles to Chicago. We've got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes, it's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it. Forrest Gump. Studio Ghibli's Howl's Moving Castle. This is my favorite Ghibli film and I'm not exactly sure why, but I like a lot of stuff about it. I like the two warring kingdoms and Howl's hatred of how they are behaving. I like how even though Sophie is trapped in an old woman's body, she still sometimes appears young and beautiful but with grey hair. Maybe Howl sees her true form? Calcifer is awesome and I love how the English dub is Billy Crystal. I love the scene where Howl cooks everyone breakfast and feeds Calcifer the eggshells. Sometimes I make my own breakfast for this part, haha. I also really like the look of the cities in it. I am not even a big anime fan, but I've seen pretty much all the Ghibli films and this is my favorite. Good little twist in the end with the scarecrow too. I read an analysis that says Sophie takes her youthful form when she's brave, but returns to the older/cursed version when she is doubtful/unsure of herself. Do read the book if you haven't. It's wonderful and fills out a lot more info, including where Howl comes from. Megamind. Megamind. Legit one of the best animated films out there. It's got great action, it's funny, plot twists, the whole package. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Original poster replies. Still haven't watched it. It is certain on my list. I feel like such a culture barbarian XD. No buttholes here, just someone who is lucky enough to have more choices than anyone before them. It's one of the wonderful things about the world today, in my opinion. Tropic Thunder. Tremors. The first and fourth are my favorites. I used to spend the day cleaning my house with 1 to 4 on all day all the time. Mean Girls. Kung Fu Hustle. I feel like that movie is too frequently overlooked. It's just one of those movies that knows what it is and knows what its audience is anticipating. It's not a masterpiece of cinematic art, and it never had a chance of winning an Oscar or anything, but that was never the goal. It's just a fun, silly, over-the-top kung fu flick. Campiness done right. Clue. I know many people don't care for it, but it is one of my favorite films. Jaws. Anything to witness Robert Shaw steal the whole show with the Indianapolis speech. Japanese submarine slammed 2 torpedoes into her side, chief. We was coming back from the island of Tinian to Leyte. We just delivered the bomb. The Hiroshima bomb. 1,100 men went into the water. Vessel went down in 12 minutes. Didn't see the first shark for about a half hour. Tiger. 13-footer. You know how you know that in the water, chief? You can tell by looking from the dorsal to the tail. What we didn't know was that our bomb mission was so secret, no distress signal had been sent. They didn't even list us overdue for a week. Very first light, chief, sharks come cruising by, so we formed ourselves into tight groups. It was sort of like you see in the calendars, you know, the infantry squares in the old calendars, like the Battle of Waterloo, and the idea was the shark come to the nearest man, that man he starts poundin' and hollerin', and sometimes that shark he go away. But sometimes he wouldn't go away. Sometimes that shark looks right at ya. Right into your eyes. And the thing about a shark is he's got lifeless eyes. Black eyes. Like a doll's eyes. When he comes at ya, he doesn't even seem to be livin'. Till he bites ya, and those black eyes roll over white, and then you hear that terrible high-pitched screamin'. The ocean turns red, and despite all your poundin' and your hollerin', those sharks come in and they rip you to pieces. You know, by the end of that first dawn, lost 100 men. I don't know how many sharks there were, maybe 1,000. I do know how many men, they averaged 6 an hour. Thursday mornin', chief, I bumped into a friend of mine, Herbie Robinson from Cleveland. Baseball player. Bozon's mate. I thought he was asleep. I reached over to wake him up. He bobbed up, down in the water, he was like a kind of top. Appended. Well, he'd been bitten in half below the waist. At noon on the 5th day, a Lockheed Ventura swung in low, and he spotted us, a young pilot, lot younger than Mr. Hooper here. Anyway, he spotted us, and a few hours later a big old fat PBY come down and started to pick us up. You know, that was the time I was most frightened. Waitin' for my turn. I'll never put on a life jacket again. So, 1,100 men went into the water. 316 men come out, the sharks took the rest, June the 29th, 1945. Anyway, we delivered the bomb. Thor Ragnarok. The hammer pulled you off? Sounds like you had a pretty special and intimate relationship with this hammer, and that losing it was almost comparable to losing a loved one. That's a nice way of putting it. No, it would pull me off the ground. Piss off ghost. Allegedly, 80% of the dialogue was improvised. I think that's why it has the feel of real people and fewer actors. From when I watched it recently, how truly fed up with Thor sorter gets really exemplifies that. Hang on. Slowly turns around, I swear I'm not doing anything. Anyways, Ragnarok, walk me through it. Are you Thor, the god of hammers? Yes. It's my happy movie. Matilda. LOTR series. The Matrix is just so good. Twister, because tornadoes. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Life moves pretty fast if you don't stop and look around. The Rock. Lord of the Rings. The Incredibles. The best superhero movie of all time. Rat Race. Always happy to jump into that film at any moment, it always makes me laugh. I have watched Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse so many times, I can't even count how many times I have watched it anymore. The movie is so amazing. If you haven't watched it yet, it's on Netflix for some countries. I would recommend watching it once, then once you're done, watch a video explaining all the little secrets and Easter eggs, watch the movie again, then get the physical copy from a store or your local library and watch the director's cut of the movie. It's worth all the time and effort to go through all of it. It's just such an amazing movie and I'm so excited for the sequel coming out in October next year. Edit. The alternate universe cut, director's cut, is only available on the Blu-ray version of the movie. The Princess Bride. Oh brother, where art thou? One of the most rewatchable movies of all time. I don't want fop, goddammit. Damn, we're in a tight spot. Constantine. Finding Nemo. Pan's Labyrinth. I don't even mind the subtitles anymore. That movie is always a wild ride. Superbad. Fun to focus on the nostalgia of teenhood for a short while. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World or Howl's Moving Castle. The Big Lebowski. So much plot and story and character, and in the end only the characters matter. The plot is just an excuse to step into the life of the dude for a while and I love it. Definitely will rewatch anytime. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.